The following product was received free of charge for the purpose of review, but all opinions remain my own. Thanks to Fanhome for sending out this review sample. Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here, and welcome back to the workbench for another instalment of the Fast and Furious 1/8 scale Dodge Charger kit. So I'm abundantly aware that this comes like every month to me, and I am so far behind that it's now piling up. So I'm going to smash out a number of issues in this video. So to that end, I'm going to start with number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. Each of these magazines, as mentioned in previous videos, has lots of information regarding the film, cars, car history, and also the instructions, which are quite easy to follow to build the various parts that come as part of the model kit. So without any further ado, let's get stuck straight into this video and start with issue 5. So issue number 5 comes with this rather large part, which looks to be part of a chassis frame, some smaller components, and quite a few bags of bolts and things. I need the wheel that we assembled in the previous episode so that I can attach this to the front left chassis part. So the first step is to get this part stuck through there, he says. Easier said than done. I think it aims sort of, it's quite a snug fit actually. I think it goes like that. There is a slight mould seam down the side, so I'm just going to sand that away. Hopefully it'll be able to fit after I've done that. It is going to remove the paint, but I can always go back over that with some more black paint later. Hopefully with that, yeah, there we go. See, that's what it needed, was just a little bit of cleaning up. And with that done, the rod here needs to go on, and it goes with these sort of lugs pointing inwards like that. He said, easier said than done. And then a little screw. And then finally, we need the spring that came with episode 4 or issue 4. So like I said in the previous ones, make sure you hold on to everything because you never know when you might need it. And that goes, not there, it goes inside of that one. Easier said than done, there we go. Then that needs to go together like that. So now we've got sort of a shock absorber. Hopefully that won't fall out and I'll lose the spring, because that'd be unfortunate. Right, next. This plastic, I think it's plastic, yes, plastic plate goes here on the chassis frame. So I need a couple of screws to do that. And other than having to sand a few bits in a few places, everything seems to fit together quite nicely. And then there is a little metal part which gets screwed in on the chassis frame there. He says, easier said than done. The torsion bar gets inserted into the hole here, which is quite snug. It's a snug fit. After a little bit of fiddling with this, I have managed to get it to go in. It seems the tolerances are pretty tight, and when you try to put things in, it's usually just like the thickness of the paint that's getting in the way. Anyway, so now we need to screw on this very small sort of washer screw to hold it into place. Yeah, sometimes you need like 2 or 3 hands to do this. Just as well I bought myself this new screwdriver set, because some of the screw heads on this I don't think would have matched the one that was included. And then with that done, we can flip over the chassis assembly, insert the torsion bar into there, and then we're going to screw it sort of into its retaining place. That wheel assembly from issue 4 can now be added into place. I think it goes there. And now we need to flip it over and get it all screwed in. Final step on issue 5 is to get the sort of suspension arm and the torsion bar lined up and then screwed together. And that's that. That's issue 5 all complete. So let's move on to issue 6. And in issue 6 we're working on elements of the front section of the chassis. So down there, and it should look something like this when it is complete. So we're going to need the stuff from the previous issue. And here are the parts. This is what you can expect to find with issue 6. First up, we're going to put the radiator support into the radiator housing, and I'm pretty sure it goes that way around. There are little sort of molded cast locating lugs to make that easier. With one of these screws, we'll just get it nice and snug. Having changed to a smaller screwdriver bit, now we're actually making some progress. So yeah, I don't think you would have ever been able to achieve this with the included one that came in the first issue. You definitely needed to go out like I have and got yourself a new screwdriver set. Now we join this bit onto here with another screw, again having changed the size of my screwdriver bit to make it easier. Oh, it says. Now we need the chassis part from the previous issue, and I think, is it go that way around or goes the way around? No, it points inwards like that. Yeah, so then that just gets screwed in on there. I feel like this would have been easier to do without the wheel being in place, so maybe maybe if you've got this yourself and you haven't yet assembled it, do this before you attach your wheels. I don't know, it just feels like it would have been easier. Now I need to put these two cross members together and then simply just screw them together in those 3 holes. And with that done, I'm going to screw this cross member into place on its holes here. Now we can put the left engine support in. It's got a locating pin there which goes into the hole in the chassis, and then the other hole there can be a small screw, so I'll do that. And then repeat the process with the right hand engine support on the other side. Like, magnetic screwdrivers are a godsend sometimes and a pain at other times. Just get in the honestly. And with that done, that is issue 6 now complete. It's starting to take up shape now, isn't it? So let's move on to issue 7. Issue 7 is more elements of the front chassis. And by the end, what should we end up looking like? We should end up looking like that. So this is a one-off sort of piece, which I'm sure we'll add in a later issue. So let's get cracking with that one. And here's the tray of parts. Not too many in this one. Some of them have been misplaced. They've sort of pinged around in there, but I'm sure I'll find them all. Just like in the previous issue, we've got some cross members which need screwing together. So they just get clipped together and I'll screw them in there. Now that I've got this cross member, this chassis K member is going to go on there. Like, I can't really fault the design of this kit. Everything sort of is positioned really well. There have been a few little fit issues, but you know, it's been more snug than loose. However, I feel like, you know, the constant screwing parts together is getting a bit monotonous now, especially as I'm trying to get through so many issues in one sitting. And I'm also doing this on one of the hottest days of the year, which isn't helping because it's quite warm and I can't really have the window open because of the outside noise. So as you can imagine, it's a little bit uncomfortable at the moment, but hopefully I'll get this done very, very quickly and I can get some fresh air inside the room again. But yeah, some clip together parts would be like amazing. So Fanhome, if you're watching and you're going to decide to design another model kit like this, then some clip together parts would be fantastic just to save time. Now I need to add these 2 links, that one there and that one there, onto both ends of the anti-roll bar. So I'm just going to use these little screws and I will see you as soon as I've done that. I'm all out of focus there. Come on, focus. There we go. I'll see you as soon as I've attached these 2 bits together. Now I need to sort of pop these retaining pieces over the anti-roll bar, and they sort of just clip in. They've got little hole locators and they pop into there. Oh, hang on, that was missed. That one. There we go. They go into there, and now all I'm going to do is screw in each of those holes. And that is issue 7 now complete. So let's move on to issue 8. I quite like issue 8 because it's got this article here about the fastest truck in the world, and it looks a bit like an English Electric Lightning with all those jet engines sort of stacked on top of each other, so I quite like that. But anyway, issue 8, the build part, we're working on another assembled wheel, and I think it's exactly the same. Yep, so when we did the left one, we did the left brake and suspension. This is exactly the same. So I'll pop on the screen now which episode that was in, but I'm not going to show you how to do that because it's identical, just some of the parts are reversed. So take a look at that episode if you want to know how to do this one. And with the magic of editing, in about 3 seconds time, I'll show you the finished results. Ta-da! There it is. That is episode 8 now complete. So with that, let's move on to episode 9. And episode 9, as I'm sure you can probably see that there's a bit of a theme appearing here, is although we're going to start adding stuff to the chassis frame, we are literally just doing the front right suspension and the chassis. So by the end of it, we should have it attached like that, and what we're going to add are, what are we adding? We're doing the suspension parts, which, as I'm sure you'll remember, was again in a previous episode. So I'm going to do these and attach them to my previous parts, and then I will get back to you before I attach them to the frame. With my wheel sort of assembly done, and making sure to put the spring back in imminently, I just need to attach it to the chassis in the exact same manner that we did earlier in the video. So I'll be back with you as soon as I've done that, because you don't need to see it twice. So now that we've got that attached to the chassis, we're starting to look a bit like a car now. Well, at least the bottom part anyway. So we need to put this sort of K plate thing that we built in the previous, well, earlier in the video, issue 6 or something, issue 7, and it's going to get screwed in there. And then having done that, you see where the anti-roll bar sort of links, they line up perfectly with these holes here. So the next thing to do is to put in the correct screwdriver bit, because the one I'm currently using is too large, and then working sensibly, probably from the, I would probably flip this over actually, probably be a bit easier. Flip this over and come in from the top these links, and there's one on each side to do. And that is issue 9 now complete. So where are we up to? We've still got a wheel to go on here, but we've got quite a lot of the chassis part, and it's already starting to feel quite weighty. So I think the next thing to do is the final issue in this episode, which is going to be issue 10. And for issue 10, we're working on the steering and right suspension. So there aren't that many parts, but just having a quick skip through the instructions, it does look a little bit fiddly. So I'm going to have to take my time with this one and make sure that I get it right, because I believe that if you do get it right, you can it should be able to move, but we'll have to check that at the end. So let's have a look at the bits. Not too many bits, let's get them all out without losing them. So with issue 10, the first thing I need to do is insert, that way up following the instructions, the idler arm into the idler arm bracket, and it has to go that way round like that. So let's get some screws, see if I get the other side in as well, and then we might be able to make it a little bit more even. I presume it needs to be able to move along that slightly, so I won't tighten it up too much. I probably won't stab myself either, be a bit more careful. Right, so I've done that. Then that goes onto, we want one ball joint. Where's the ball joints? Ball joints are in here in the bag. Ball joint goes into the third to last, which is that one, so that way round. Third to last goes in there, like that. And then this, which is that way up, goes in there. What are we joining that with? We're joining it up with one of these. Just very carefully passing that through there. Gonna probably need a new pair of fingers after this because this is fiddly and a bit painful. There's quite a lot of forces required to get some of these screws in. Now that I've done that, I'm going to repeat that on this side in the exact same process. Having paid a bit more attention to the instructions, it actually tells you to put this screw and this screw in from the inside. So like that way and that way, how I've done it there. I originally put them in the other way around. I'm not sure why that's important, but the fact that the instructions tells you to put them in that way and that way means that they probably foul something on this side. So I've obviously taken them out and redone that. Next bit is to take one of these more small ball joint things and stick it in that hole on the end, and then this bar, this rod, is going to go into there. I think one of the rods is already on the chassis, so I imagine when we go to put this on, that'll be one of the jobs we do. And you can screw that in. Which way they're screwing it in doesn't really say, doesn't really matter, but it looks like they're screwing it in from this side. Now we've got our chassis components. We are going to attach this to there, which is pretty much what I guessed. So ball joint through, like that. Stick it into your sort of arm, and then let's get a screw through there as well. And then over on our free side, which we assembled like this earlier, we need to put one of these on, and it goes up from the bottom, like that, ball joint up from the bottom, and then screwed in like that. Now that we've done that, these two parts need to go in their holes here and here, so that will be a simple enough job just to screw them in. A little bit fiddly though, I'm trying to get everything lined up correctly. There is a tip in the book. It says you can change the wheel alignment slightly by varying the positions of the screws that hold the idler arm brackets and the tie rods together, which I presume is in the next step. So I think we've had the tie rods yet. That's not even aligned. Or is the tie rods a different bit? I don't know. I don't know much about cars. I'm sure I'll just fiddle with it and see which bits make it do what I want it to do. I've already put one of the front suspension radius arms in here, and it's a relatively simple action. However, I found the instructions to be sort of a little bit backwards on this one. They want you to put it in this hole here and then bend it so that it fits into the hole just there. But I found it actually worked better if you stuck it in that hole first, then bent it to fit in to the one on the suspension arm. I just couldn't get it to go the other way around. It says it's quite a fiddly job, and you've got to get it the right way around because they've got little sort of kinks on them. But there you go, that's that bit in. And that is issues 5 to 10 done. So we've made quite a bit of progress. I mean, we're still missing the wheel and other parts, and we should still, in our safe places, have the parts we did in the earlier episodes, such as the sort of engine part, the front grille, and the steering wheel, which obviously they will be added to the model in the future. So stay tuned if you'd like to see the next installment of this. I'm probably going to do episodes 11 to 15. Just to try and get through it as quickly as possible. But thanks for bearing with me as I do this. I've just been looking at the suspension actually, well, not the suspension, the steering, and you can see that it does sort of work, but there's obviously some more fiddling I need to do in order to get it to work properly. So I'll fiddle with that at some point in the future. But yeah, thanks awfully for watching. A quick shout out to my patrons and channel members for the extra support they give my channel, and if you'd like to find out more about what becoming a patron or channel member means, take a look at the links in the description. What do you think of the model so far? Do you think this is a good quality kit? I mean, I've probably spent about 2 hours just making this sort of part of the video, so if you're into this sort of thing, this is a kit which will take up quite a lot of time, and especially as you get it every month, it's like half an hour to an hour's worth of activity every month to look forward to. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Not sure I would like to do this like in massive stints. Like, I wouldn't want to have the whole model and build the whole model in one sitting, because my hands are quite sore now already just from doing 5 parts, all that screwing things together. But yeah, the quality is quite good. A few little fit issues, but it's more so that they're snug. The parts are too snug to fit together and you've got to sort of fiddle with them a little bit. But generally, pretty impressed with the quality so far. So yeah, join me next time as I look at the next couple of installments of this Dodge Charger in 1/8 scale from Fanhome. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. If you're new here and you'd like to see more modelling videos, click that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like one. Finally, the last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.